This is KGW News at 5.
First at 5, rain on the radar, and this is just a glimpse of what's heading our way. We're in for another major soaking that starts tonight into tomorrow morning. Good afternoon, I'm Christine Pitawanich in for Nina Melhoff today, and we're not only talking rain, but Brian, lots of snow in the mountains too. He's joining us now live. Brian, this particular system is a little unusual for late April.
Yeah, a little unusual. We talk about spring showers, not spring-defined systems. It's a stronger than usual jet stream pushing a lot of moisture in. We could see up to a foot of snow for the resorts, a couple inches down to the pass level. We could see up to 3/4 of an inch in the valleys, maybe an inch of rain for the coast, or even more for the coast range and areas below 4,000 feet in the Cascades. So it's a soaker. You'll be driving to work through puddles. You'll be jumping over them on your way to the car. It makes what we saw today not look all that impressive. We saw a little over 1/10 of an inch in many places, 4/10 of an inch of rain in Astoria today with the showers that we've had, 1/4 of an inch in Salem and in Kelso. So that's a pretty good amount for this time of year. It's 50 degrees from Cannon Beach right now, and it really doesn't look too bad. The showers have kind of scattered, with most of the showers moving to the north and west of us. You can see basically our upper 1/4 quadrant there in the northwest. Otherwise, though, we're seeing that next system moving in as we speak. So later on tonight, that's when it's really going to start raining. Maybe around 9-10 o'clock, you'll see the raindrops coming in. It's going to be wet overnight, so a very soggy morning commute on your way in. It'll be chilly as well in the upper 40s. We'll top out in the mid 50s and just basically wet all day with showers into the evening. We'll tell you the next system that is coming in this week in the next 10 minutes. Christine.
Thanks, Brian. A quick traffic alert for you tonight. The Morrison Bridge is back open for eastbound drivers. Westbound lanes are expected to reopen by 10 o'clock tonight. That's also when I-5 South is expected to reopen. Both closures are for weekend repair work on the Morrison Bridge deck. And a head-on crash in Tualatin today put 2 people in the hospital. It happened just after noon on Boones Ferry Road near I-5. Rescuers say they had to pull 2 people out of their cars. They're at OHSU with significant injuries. A third person was also hurt in this, but did not go to the hospital. New at 5, coming together to fight hate. A church community spent their Sunday cleaning up graffiti that showed up this weekend. And now police are investigating if the messages rise to the level of a hate crime. KGW's Tim Gordon is live at Trinity Lutheran Church in Northeast Portland. And Tim, the church also runs as a school.
Yeah, it does. It has for decades, in fact, Christine. Now, the hate-filled graffiti was really mostly on this wall over here, the building that borders the kids' playground. And we were here when they covered it over with fresh paint.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked by what I saw. I wasn't expecting what was on there.
The church council president unveiled what they'd tarped over Saturday morning. A wall filled with hateful words and symbols, a swastika, racial slurs, and more. Other spots in the church and school got tagged too. Trinity Lutheran's been in Northeast Portland for more than 125 years, and in these buildings since the 1950s. A positive part of the Cully neighborhood. So this hurts.
Yeah, this is, really disappointing. We really, pride Trinity in being such a diverse school and church family.
Guys, I've just bought some paint.
But today, while most went in for Sunday services, some of the faithful came out to the playground. They had a mission to cover over hate with paint. Sasha Pritchett is one of the painters.
This community represents a lot of love here, so it was very hurtful when I heard about it. And of course, I thought about all of our children, and we want to protect our children.
In fact, a few of those children got in on the cleanup, reaching high and learning a lesson too. That while sometimes people do mean things, what you do in response means more than anything else.
I mean, there was really no question. Nobody was like, oh, no one questioned it. We just all said we'd show up, and here we are as a community showing the love and diversity of our school. And hopefully it sends a message like, you can't rattle us. So we're still here. Yep. And we're still going to love.
Yeah, in fact, they say if these people that did the graffiti wanted to come here and talk about what motivated them to do such a terrible thing, they'd be welcome in the doors of the church. In the meantime, if you have any information about who did this graffiti, call Portland Police, the non-emergency number, right away. The biased crime detectives are working on this. Christine, back to you.
Thank you, Tim. So glad that church community is coming together. Anyone living or traveling around Albany will want to hear this. Recent sightings are prompting police to warn people, get this, to look out for cougars. This is file video of the big cats. Police say the reports are coming from the North Albany area. If you come across one, experts say stay calm and slowly back away, but don't turn around or run. Running triggers a cougar's chase response. And you can file this next story under the category Oops. The Willamette Week reports the Oregon House accidentally passed a bill allowing drones to fire bullets at wolves. The bill was meant to let drones shoot projectiles in certain situations. That includes intentionally setting a controlled fire or for non-lethal predator control. Its writer says he never meant to include the word bullet. The bill now goes to the Senate, which is expected to fix that mistake. Members of the group Lentz Neighbors for Justice walked along the Springwater Corridor today. It's to take a stance on the homeless crisis. Some people feel that homeless campers caused a lot of the destruction in the area last year. They wanted to see if sweeps on the Springwater have improved the situation. They're especially concerned about the ecosystem.
Destroyed all the flora and fauna, cut down all the young trees for tent posts, and made it unsafe for anyone else to use the trail. I'd love to ride my bicycle down here, but I wouldn't do it unless I was armed.
Members say they hope campers don't return to the corridor this summer. When we talked to some homeless people on the trail last year, they said they were there because they had nowhere else to go. As President Trump approaches his 100th day in office, new numbers show the majority of Americans aren't happy with his work so far. According to the NBC and Wall Street Journal poll, 54% disapprove while 40% approve. 35% say the president is off to a good to great start, while 64% call it fair to poor.
I think President Trump has done very well at the theater of being president, and he's been miserable at the substance of the job. He's got both houses of Congress. He hasn't been able to get major legislation passed.
This comes ahead of a busy week for the president. Saturday's budget deadline is looming to avoid a government shutdown. Congress will also try once again to replace the Affordable Care Act, and that is also a 100-day campaign promise from President Trump.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. So we're hopeful for this week, but again, it's not something that has to happen in order to define our success.
Democrats say since Republicans control Congress, the burden is on them to keep the government open. Vote counting is almost done in the first round of France's presidential election. Projections show centrist Emmanuel Macron and far-right candidate Marine Le Pen are moving on to next month's runoff election. Le Pen has campaigned on many of the same populist themes that propelled President Trump to the White House. The election is expected to have major impacts on the future of the European Union. Macron campaigned in support of it, while Le Pen took an anti-EU stance. The first round of the election also resulted in protests tonight. Take a look. Demonstrators burned cars, danced around bonfires, got into scuffles with police, like you see right there. Protesters shouted "No Marine" and "No Macron" while waving red flags. Police say they've arrested 3 people so far. Another U.S. citizen is detained in North Korea. That information just out today. They are the 3rd American being held there. The Swedish embassy in North Korea says it is aware of the situation but couldn't comment any further. It handles affairs like this on behalf of the United States because the U.S. and North Korea do not have diplomatic relations. American Airlines says it has suspended a flight attendant after a confrontation with a passenger went viral. It comes on the heels of a public relations disaster for United Airlines when security dragged a man off a plane. Bradley Blackburn with our sister station in Dallas has the details.
Tense moments on an American Airlines flight. A mom crying at the front of the plane after passengers say a flight attendant violently grabbed her stroller, nearly injuring her child.
I was very upset and grabbed it and just pulled it and yanked it off, sort of violently yanked it, and stormed off the plane with it.
Serain Adianthaya pulled out his phone and started recording this video, capturing the moment another passenger demanded to know that flight attendant's name and then confronted him.
Hey, bud, you do that to me and I'll knock you flat. You stay out of this.
That passenger, Tony Fierro from Dallas.
A baby almost got hurt. That's what just fired me up. So that was it. I don't want to make a big deal about it.
In a statement, American Airlines said, quote, "We are disappointed by these actions. The American team member has been removed from duty while we immediately investigate this incident." Back in our area, some Good Samaritans teamed up with a Marion County deputy to help save a life. Together, they performed CPR on a woman who had stopped breathing at a store in Kaiser. Deputy Mike Beach says he was eating lunch when a man came up to him saying that a woman had fallen and was unconscious at a nearby business. A retired cardiac unit nurse then helped Deputy Beach perform CPR until an ambulance arrived. The woman is in critical condition.